Namaskar and welcome to Express News with me Deepika, your window to quick and crisp 100 news and updates from the country and the world. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today launched two innovative customer-centric initiatives of the Reserve Bank of India. The two initiatives are the RBI Retail Direct Scheme and the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the scheme will expand the scope for investment in the country and it will be easier and secure to access capital markets for the investors. The Prime Minister said through retail direct schemes, small investors have found an easy and secure medium to invest in government securities. The Prime Minister said through the Integrated Ombudsman scheme, One Nation, One Ombudsman has taken a shape in the true sense. He said with this, each and every complaint of bank customers will be resolved in time and without any kind of trouble. The Prime Minister said the biggest strength of democracy is how strong, sensitive, proactive is country in grievance redressal system. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that in just 7 years, India has jumped 19 times in terms of digital transactions. He added that India has become the world's leading country in terms of digital transactions in a very short span of time. Slamming previous governments on lack of banking facilities for the poor, Prime Minister said that till 6 to 7 years ago, banking, pension, insurance, everything used to be like an exclusive club in India and all these facilities were far away from the common citizens of the country. The Prime Minister said it will now be easier for the big section of the society to invest directly in government securities and to increase the country's wealth. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said during the pandemic the RBI and Finance Ministry have worked in the spirit of cooperation and the two important initiatives of the RBI today will take forward the financial inclusion principle. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah has reached Varanasi on a two-day tour of Uttar Pradesh. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and other BJP leaders welcomed him at the airport. With the depression that crossed the Tamil Nadu coast weakening into a low-pressure area and rainfall activity now likely to be concentrated over the South Andhra Pradesh coast, the red alert issued for Chennai in Tiruvallur, Ranipet, Vellore, Salem, Kalikurichi, Tirupattur and Tirunelveli districts has been withdrawn. The Andhra Pradesh government has put the district administrations of Sri Potti, Srimalu, Nellore, Chittoor, Prakasam and YSR Kadapa districts on high alert as heavy rains lashed parts of Rayalaseema and south coastal Andhra. Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech Company Limited has claimed that its Covaxin has shown 77.8% efficacy against COVID-19 during the Phase 3 data. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia inspected a vaccination center in Sarojini Nagar, Uttar Pradesh as part of Har Ghar Dastak drive. He called upon people to come forward for vaccination and stressed the need for making commoners aware of the benefits of taking the jab. Speaking at Diplomatic Conclave 2021, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said the quest for education has also been a powerful incentive for Indians to go to other countries. More than 1 million Indian students study abroad and by doing so, they've laid the basis for strong relationships across many geographies. Foreign Secretary Shringla said over 50,000 students from 164 countries are currently studying in India and it is expected that this number will increase in years to come. NEP aims at promoting India as a global destination for students by providing minimum education at affordable cost. National Security Advisor Ajit DOVAL reviewed the passing out parade of police service officers at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy in Hyderabad. The NSA called upon the officers to put the interest of India at top priority. After the Supreme Court cautioned Army of Contempt, Centre assured that it will rule out permanent commission option to all eligible women Army officers. In Kashmir Valley, 3 terrorists have been killed in 2 different encounters with the security forces since Thursday afternoon. Union Health Ministry has issued fresh guidelines for international travel amid a surge in COVID-19 cases in many countries. The travel guidelines will remain valid till further orders. The new guidelines exempt children under the age of 5 years from undergoing pre- and post-arrival COVID-19 testing at the airport. India continues to fight COVID-19 with the administration of more than 53,81,889 vaccine doses in the last 24 hours. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 110 crore landmark milestone. Meanwhile, more than 121 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. The recovery of 13,155 patients in the last 24 hours has increased the cumulative tally of recovered patients to over 3 crore 38,14,080. Consequently, India's recovery rate stands at 98.26%, which is the highest since March 2020. Sustained and collaborative efforts by the centre and the states as well as the union territories continue the trend of less than 50,000 daily new cases that is being reported for 138 consecutive days now. 12,516 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The active cases account for less than 1% of total cases. Active cases presently constitute 0.40% of the country's total positive cases. Active caseload stands at 1,37,416, which is the lowest in 267 days. The testing capacity across the country continues to be expanded. The last 24 hours saw a total of 11,65,286 tests being conducted. India has so far conducted over 62 crore 10 lakh cumulative tests. While the weekly positivity rate stands at 1.10% and remains less than 2% for the last 49 days now. The daily positivity rate reported to be 1.07%. The daily positivity rate has remained below 2% for last 39 days and below 3% for 74 consecutive days now. Japanese industrial conglomerate Toshiba Corp outlined plans on Friday to break up into 3 independent companies by spinning off two core businesses, its energy and infrastructure business as well as its device and storage business. Digital payments and fintech firm PAYTM has fixed an offer price of 2,150 rupees a piece for its initial share sale, which is at the top of its price range in its 18,300 crore rupees initial public offering. PAYTM had earlier priced its share in a price band of 2,080 to 2,150 rupees per share, valuing the company at 1.39 lakh crore rupees at the upper end of the price band. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that there is huge opportunity that exists for Korean investors in India's startup ecosystem, and both the countries need to increase collaboration in sectors such as automobile, textiles, food, processing and chemicals to enhance economic ties. Snapping 3 days of losing streak, domestic markets rose on positive global cues. The SENSEX at the Bombay Stock Exchange surged 767 points or 1.3% to 60,787. While the Nifty gained 229 points or 1.3% to close above the 18,000 level at 18,103. Elsewhere, other key Asian stock markets have also advanced on Friday as a shock from a surprisingly strong US inflation reading receded, with investors hopeful that the worst prices hikes could soon be over. The rupee strengthened by 7 paise to close at 74.45 against the US dollar as a firm trend in domestic equities boosted investor sentiments. Vodafone Idea on Friday reported a consolidated net loss of 7,132.3 crore rupees for the quarter ended September as against a net loss of 7,319 crore rupees in the previous quarter. Prices of petrol and diesel remain unchanged for the 8th consecutive day on Friday. The price of petrol in Delhi stands at 103.97 rupees per litre, while that of diesel is at 86.67 rupees per litre. World continues to battle COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 has infected more than 25 crore 26 lakh people worldwide. So far, the number of recoveries stand above 22 crore 85 lakh, while the disease has claimed over 50 lakh 95,000 lives globally. The United States alone continues to contribute majority of the cases of COVID-19 in the world's tally. The country's COVID-19 cases have crossed 4 crore 76 lakh and death toll passing 7 lakh 80,000. The Dutch government's pandemic advisory panel on Thursday recommended imposing a partial lockdown, shutting down theatres and cinemas, scrapping large events and closing cafes as well as restaurants earlier. Meanwhile, the Netherlands has recorded over 16,000 coronavirus infections in 24 hours, the highest number since the start of the pandemic. Israel held a war game drill in case of an outbreak of a new lethal variant of COVID-19. During the COVID drill, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and senior aides holed up in a nuclear command bunker to simulate an outbreak of a vaccine-resistant COVID-19 variant to which children are vulnerable. Israel built the bunker known as the National Management Center more than a decade ago because of concern about Iran's nuclear program and missile exchanges with Lebanon and Gaza. Mexican shops are seeking to improve their fortunes following the pandemic slump as they kick off US-style Black Friday sales. The BOFIN or Good Weekend initiative seeks to stimulate spending in the country's economy. With stores discounting electronic goods such as laptops and big screen televisions and extending retail hours, keen shoppers are packing shopping centers and high streets to take advantage of the event. Germany's acting foreign minister Heiko Maas said that the European Union will expand sanctions on Belarus along with individuals and companies involved in transporting illegal migrants, while it will also include sectoral sanctions, that is, economic ones. Western members of the UN Security Council on Thursday condemned Belarus' handling of a migrant crisis along its border with Poland, saying it demonstrates how the government of President Alexander Lukashenko has become a threat to regional stability. Estonia, France, Ireland, Norway, the US and Britain held a closed-door meeting of the 15-member body on Thursday to discuss the migrant crisis. Hundreds of migrants are stuck in freezing temperatures on the Belarusian border with Poland trying to get into the European Union as EU capitals and Minsk accuse each other of causing the crisis and of endangering lives. Citizens from Syria, Yemen and Iraq will no longer be allowed to buy flight tickets from Turkey to Minsk amid a migrant standoff between Belarus and the European Union, Turkey's Civil Aviation General Directorate said on Friday. Protests throughout Bolivia sparked on Thursday on the fourth day of a national strike over a law against illicit profits and terrorist financing that critics allege is a government use to seize private property. Bolivia's transport and retail unions have launched a strike accusing the president, Luis Arce's socialist government of using justice system to centralize power and crack down on dissent. Bolivia's transport and retail unions dressed with full gear, waving red and white flags, marched against the law, demanding the president to repeal it. The country has been sharply divided since the abrupt resignation of former socialist leader Evo Morales in the year 2019 amid protests. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has paid tribute to outgoing German Chancellor Angela Merkel, thanking her for being genuinely interested in the views of a humble New Zealander. Ardern commended Merkel on her 16 years leadership of Europe's largest economy, describing her as a true leader and a very good person. Held in high regard on the international stage as role model for women in policy making, the leaders met virtually at a CEO forum on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Ardern also fondly recalled an early meeting between the pair in Germany. Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha highlighted the need for regional reconnection in a post-COVID-19 world in an address to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation CEO Summit on Friday. In a pre-recorded speech, Prime Minister Prayut said Thailand would look to reinvigorate discussion on the free trade area of the Asia-Pacific. Lebanon's culture minister warned on Thursday of recent conflicts stirring Lebanon and other neighboring countries off their course towards peace. Representing Lebanon at the 41st session of UNESCO's General Conference held in the French capital Paris, Mohammed Al-Mortada stressed that his ministry was working to combat instability by building bridges with other nations. Mortada emphasized that the organization's principles of mutual cultural respect and understanding can help Lebanon out of its current crisis. Lebanon is suffering a financial as well as economic meltdown, which the World Bank has labeled as one of the deepest depressions of modern history. The fourth edition of the annual Paris Peace Forum is underway, where world leaders, heads of states and non-governmental organizations discuss global issues such as climate change, COVID-19 pandemic and digital migration. The French President Emmanuel Macron also hosted a dinner for attendance of the Paris Peace Forum on Thursday evening, including US President Kamala Harris. Macron called for more equity in COVID-19 vaccinations, noting that jabs are being administered 10 times slower in Africa and other less privileged regions. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Paris Peace Forum, US President Kamala Harris said the pandemic has opened people's eyes on social inequalities. She said the inequality gap had narrowed and widened during human history, but throughout this pandemic, the gaps have become larger. US Vice President Kamala Harris on Thursday called for world leaders to see the coronavirus pandemic as an opportunity to examine and address global inequality. The ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, has said in a tweet on Thursday the United Arab Emirates has been selected to host the COP28 International Climate Conference in the year 2023. Sudan's Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan was sworn in on Thursday as head of a new transitional council he appointed to lead the country following the military takeover late last month, shrugging off domestic and international pressure to reverse the coup. The new 14-member Sovereign Council includes civilians representing Sudan's regions, but none from the Forces of Freedom and Change political coalition that had been sharing power with the military in a democratic transition since the year 2019. Drone video filmed over Italy's central Umbrian countryside has picked out the beautiful gold rust and orange colors of the change to autumn. The area is filled with vineyards, and as the leaves on the vines begin to die off, the rolling hills become a sea of orange and reds. Locals make the most of their countryside, a running event at the weekend, wound through the vines and even through the store room in the wine cellar. Runners were offered glasses of wine for refreshment as they passed by rather than the usual water. In New York, a Vincent van Gogh landscape seized by the Nazis during their Second World War occupation of France sold at auction for $35.9 million. The 1888 work Mules Double was purchased for well above its pre-sale estimate of $20 to $30 million. It was last exhibited in the year 1905. Walt Disney's latest film Encanto celebrates Colombia's diversity, its people and its music, and sends a message about overcoming challenges. The title track for the film, set to be released at the end of this month, is Colombia Me Encanto. Encanto tells the story of the Madrigal family who possess special powers and lives in a magical house in Encanto, a town hidden in Colombia's mountains. A French balloonist has made history by breaking the world record for standing on top of a hot air balloon at altitude. Remy Ovrath stands high up in the heavens on the balloon at more than 3,637 meters. Remy Ovrath carried out the daring challenge for France's Telethon, an annual fundraiser event for research into rare neuromuscular disease. As Germany's COVID-19 cases soared and reached a new high on Thursday, the country's carnival season kicked off in Cologne. Carnival is celebrated in Germany's predominantly Catholic West and South, with much swaying to traditional ballets and brass bands. Last year, Germany was in the middle of a COVID-19 lockdown and all mass events such as street carnivals were cancelled. But this year, the carnival is taking place under strict coronavirus restriction measures. BCCI announces Indian squad for the upcoming two-match test series against New Zealand. Opener Rohit Sharma has been rested for the test series, while skipper Virat Kohli will join the squad from second test onwards. Matthew Wade and Marcus Stoinis stood unbeaten in a six-hitting feast to lead Australia into the T20 Cricket World Cup final with a 5-wicket win over Pakistan. Hansi Flick made history as the first Germany coach to win his first 6 games in the charge, with his COVID-19 affected side thrashing 10-men Liechtenstein in a World Cup qualifier. India's Netra Kumaran has scripted history by winning gold medal in the laser radial section of the Gran Canaria Sailing Championships that took place in Spain. Ahead of the T20 Cricket World Cup finals clash, New Zealand suffers huge blow. Star player and wicket-keeper as well as batter Tevon Conway ruled out of the final of the T20 Cricket World Cup. Brazil becomes first South American team to qualify for Qatar 2022 Football World Cup. Brazil beats Colombia by 1-0 in Sao Paulo on Thursday. In WTA Finals, Carolina Pliskova edges past Muguruza on 4th match point in WTA Finals round-robin opener. Paula Badosa started off slowly but won 10 games in a row to upset top-seeded Ariana Sabalenka by 6-4, 6-0 on Thursday in their opening match at the WTA Finals. Argentina's Lionel Messi has recovered from the knee and hamstring worries that kept him out of Paris Saint-Germain's last 2 games and is in line to start in their World Cup qualifier against Uruguay. Ladakh organizes first Taekwondo championship under the aegis of Indian Taekwondo. More than 250 players from different parts of Ladakh in all age groups participated in the tournament. Oscar winner Mahershala Ali is all set to play the role of Blade in an MCU film. Mahershala Ali opened up on doing the voice cameo for Eternals. He explains that it was a cool experience even if it was a bit scary. Kumail Nanjiani, who played the role of Kingo in Eternals, has shared Bollywood-style posters featuring his character from the film. Kingo in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is one of the titular quasi-immortal beings who've lived in secrets among humans. Hollywood actors Willem Dafoe and Emily Watson will feature in Studio A24's upcoming fantasy movie, The Legend of Oshi. The film will be helmed by debutant director Isaiah Saxon. Britain's Prince Harry helped honor veterans, service members and military families at the Intrepid's annual Salute to Freedom Gala at the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum in New York. Taapsee Pannu is currently gearing up for her upcoming investigative comedy drama titled Wo Ladki Hai Kahan. The actor talked about new beginnings as she commences the shoot of Wo Ladki Hai Kahan. Post the release of the hit song Tumse Bhi Zyada from the upcoming film Tadap, makers have shared another song, Tere Siva Jug Mein. The party anthem has left the fans grooving on the peppy number. As Alia Bhatt and Karan Johar shot together for Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, the duo played their own version of Coffee with Karan's rapid fire round. The director shared the interaction on Instagram as a nervous-looking Alia answered his questions. Actor Vicky Kaushal has announced his new film title Govinda Naam Mera on Friday. This time around, he will play a fun character called Govinda Wagmare, whose stance is on point, but his life is a mess. The Dharma Productions project will also star Bhumi Pednekar and Kiara Advani in the lead roles. After wrapping the shoot of Raj and DK's Prime Video web series, Shahid Kapoor has started working on his next film with director Ali Abbas Zafar. The actor looked to Instagram to share a photo with the director and wrote, "Day 1, blood, crime and a lots of action. Here we go, Ali Abbas Zafar. Better get your game face on." And lastly, the teaser of the much-awaited Arya 2 is out, and though it only gives a small glimpse of Sushmita Sen, it is enough to get the audience excited about the upcoming season. The teaser shows her covered in gulal as she walks with vengeance in her eyes. And that's all for now in this bulletin, but news continues here on DD India from across the nation and the world. So keep watching and tracking. Namaskar.